So when we talk about Battery 519's plotting room, we're really talking about the heart of this whole operation coming together. And the metaphor that we like to use is a quarterback throwing a pass through the season. Right? In our case, the quarterback is going to be Fort Miles. It's going to be launching a pass or a football, which in our case is a giant shell. A receiver, which in our case is the German Battleship. They don't want to catch that pass, but we're going to make sure that they do. So if we're thinking in terms of this metaphor, what's the first thing that a quarterback does after the ball snaps to him and he steps back? But before he goes, he looks. Exactly. Thank you. You were right on top of that. I hope we all are. Tonight, my dad and I are actually headed to the Eagles games. I'm super excited.
Really?
Yep.
Hey, you guys are living large, man.
Yeah. Well, this is his birthday gift. So if we're thinking again in terms of this metaphor, what would we think of as the eyes of Fort Miles? Fire control towers, thank you. And you really make a good point, and I want to kind of make a small diversion here. I'm going to talk about the towers for a little bit. So in Delaware, we had 11 towers along the coast. All of them are still standing. And over in Keeping, New Jersey, we had 4 fire control towers for a total of 15 fire control towers. Now let me ask you this. Has anybody heard these towers referred to as cell towers? No. Has anybody heard that these towers were for watching submarines? Yes, right? Okay. So these towers were never, ever used for watching submarines. They were never designed for that intent. They were only used to search for surface ships. Hence the term fire control towers, to direct the fire of the guns here at Fort Miles onto any surface ships. So there's this sort of pernicious local historical myth that people believe that, and I think it basically has to do with the fact that proximity of time and space, U-boats showed up, we built this base, we had these towers, the towers must have been therefore used to spot U-boats. But as I said, they were only used for German battleships and their surface ships. So if anybody tells you that they were watching for submarines, you tell them that's fake news. So in each of these fire control towers, you would have had several teams of soldiers. And they would have been constantly scanning the horizon of the azimuth of those enemy surface ships. And you can kind of see a picture of that right here. There is an azimuth over there in the corner. And as they're looking over the horizon for all these different ships, they're also taking notation, and then they're calling down here to the plotting. And they're reporting that information to a team of soldiers who would have been gathered up around the plotting table just like you are right now. And those soldiers would have been the ones who would have been charged with making decisions. So if we're thinking about the towers as the eyes, what would we think of as the soldiers here in the plotting? I like your heart. So, let's say Tower 3 calls in, and Tower 3, they say, we've spotted an enemy battleship. Our azimuth says it's at, can you read that arm? Sorry, that arm into any number there, read it off. 240, excellent. And then let's say Tower 7 calls in, and Tower 7 says, we've also spotted an enemy battleship. And our azimuth reports that it's at 330, excellent. Okay, so where the soldiers here, they knew the distance between these two towers. They knew where those angles would intersect, and where they intersect is where that German battleship has got to be. This is just simple trigonometry. Your high school teacher says that trigonometry was good for something, this is what this is talking about. So what they do at that point is they mark down a little point, you can see somebody else's plot. A lot of points. Are we ready to throw that pass in? What else would we need to know before we do that?
Movement speed?
We would have to know we would have to know speed, and then what else? We're going to get to that. You're ahead of the game here. I'm sorry. What else do we need to know about the ship? Direction and speed, right? And the way that we get that is we keep getting these calls from the towers, and we just keep continuing to plot a series of points, and it's going to reveal that pattern. I was going to ask what do we need to know about the environment, if we one step ahead of me. Here at 4 miles, we would have had a team, a meteorological team, and they would have been calling down the fire rings and notifying them of the prevailing weather conditions, right? We need to know wind speed, temperature, humidity, precipitation, the tides, even the rotation of the Earth. They could all factor into your shots, right? So, the next step up. So, do we want to throw that past where that ship is? Where it's going. And the way that we do that is we use this little tool called the set forward scale. The set forward scale has these little hash marks on it. Basically what we would do is we would line up those hash marks with the points that we plotted, and that's going to tell us where that ship should be in the future. Then what they would do is they would move the gun arm into place. And this number on the outside, that's how far to the left or the right that gun needs to be aimed. This number on the inside indicates how elevated or depressed the barrel wants to be. Right? And at that point, they would say they've come up with a firing solution. Then I'm going to actually pull down to the battery, because we are not in the battery right now, we're in the plotting room. They relay this information, and then the people manning the gun dial it in, and then they fire. So this is a lot of math, and this is a lot of work. To make things even more difficult for these men, they were under a deadline. There's a bell in this room. Every 60 seconds, that bell goes off, and they have to have an updated firing solution. Because remember, this ship is continuously moving. It's not stationary. So just imagine the hardest math test you've ever taken. You've got to get the answers right every time, and you've got to get those answers in 60 seconds. On a scale of 1 to 100%, how accurate do you think the men will be?
95.
95, that's a lot of confidence there. I like that. Heart and courage, right? Anybody else care to venture a guess? 60%, close to 50, some a little bit better. A little bit better than that. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Right. Well, if you take all of the coastal artillery commands together and you average them together, you end up with 80%. Right? So that's 4 out of 5. That's not bad. If somebody gives me odds on the Super Bowl, they said 4 out of 5, I'm going to take that bet. If they say 4 out of 5, on the brakes on my car, I probably won't take that. But the men here at Fort Miles were exceptionally good at what they did. They achieved 98.3% accuracy. Now here's the thing, they never actually fired at a battleship, so where did we come up with this number? Exactly, we did practice. On a weekly basis, they would have towed targets out into the ocean and fired on them, right? So I don't think that this necessarily detracts from their accuracy or from that rating. The Army still deemed them important enough that they decided to film them, to create training films. I knew you would.
So what was the calculation process? Did they have tables or slide rules?
Slide rule was definitely one of the things that they used. I know that on battleships they used some kind of a machine-based computer. They didn't have that here. I'm not sure why that exactly was, but they